This book is a journey across a country in crisis, although not the crisis we usually read about in the papers or hear about on the news. In a weird, disorientating age marked by political earthquakes and volcanoes, shock election results, constitutional chaos, new parties, new leaders, new governments, it tries to go below the surface and look instead at what is animating all this turmoil, at the movements of the tectonic plates underneath. Over the past few years, while most journalists were converging on Westminster to understand why things are falling apart, I've found myself going the other way, seeking out not the symptoms of the breakdown, but the causes. I ended up sitting in franchised coffee outlets and nondescript office blocks all over Britain, climbing over mammoth construction sites and factory ruins, wedging myself into basements, squats, and the shadows of glitzy conference halls, walking along fields, rivers, football pitches, and far-flung business parks, searching all the while for clues. What I discovered was the opposite of what we've been led to expect. Not an anti-politics, but a fierce and liberatory engagement with the way that power, money, and privilege mould our lives. There is mass disillusionment, certainly, with the organs of the state that are supposed to mediate and regulate these forces. In 2019, polling suggested that 3/4 of the population believe that politics is not fit for purpose. But it is accompanied by a hunger for new forms of agency, representation, and action, both within the conventional political arena and beyond it. What path those new forms take, and the disturbances they produce, will have a revolutionary impact on us all. As the long, late 20th century draws messily to a close, we are witnessing, for better or for worse, the end of a particular paradigm, one that has shaped our world for about 40 years. For many, including myself, it spans an entire lifetime or more. That period has not been uniform. It has encompassed great changes to the ways in which we work, play, and communicate, to the technologies we use, and to the tales we tell about ourselves. But there is a constant thread running through it, namely an organising principle based on free markets, movable money, and competition, on an ever-growing rivalry between people, companies, cities, and regions. The economic system that was built around that principle imploded during the financial crash of 2008 with spectacular global consequences. In Britain, our political leaders tried to carry on as if nothing had really changed. The grammar and syntax of institutional power remained the same, as did the lens through which the press evaluated and reported it. But although liberal capitalism has so far endured, superficially at least, something important did change, and that was the logic behind the economic system, the justification it offered up for its existence. After 2008, that logic contradicted the lived reality of millions. In the gap between the mentality of a sclerotic governing class and the way things felt to those outside of it, rebellions began to take root. They came from the left and the right, from the young and the old, and they manifested themselves at the ballot box, on the street, and in a vast array of different forms. They went off haphazardly, in multiple directions, and political pandemonium ensued. Now, although the economic system staggers on for the time being, the infrastructure around it is crumbling. We don't yet know what will emerge from the rubble, but in this book I identify the shoots of something altered, something new.